What's up, y'all? It's your boy Nigel Russo here, back for another episode of Talk to Me Talk Show. We discuss various topics about our people, our youth, and our future. And I'm back for part two of part one about the self care episode. And I got my barber here with me today, my man. Introduce yourself, break it down for the people one time.
Once again, I'm back on the show. My name is Josh Dunbar. You can follow me on Instagram at _simple SYMPLE. That's your boy. I do cut hair. Hit your boy up. Get my number from my boy Nigel if you need to hit me up. So I get you on the books. Let's get it.
Yay. So I had to come here because we had a little conversation a little bit earlier with my sister about self-care and stuff like that. And I kind of explained like self-care for me is like taking care of yourself visually, and basically if you take care of your outside, it affects your inside too. But having a conversation with my sister, she kind of flipped it and kind of said, it's not really that way, it's the other way around. So let me get into number one, asking you, what is your definition of self-care for a man? Let's start there.
So I had to agree with your sister. I believe that it starts inwardly and it goes and it turns to an outward reflection. Yeah, what you put in your body, what you're thinking is all internal, but those have effects on what will be the outcome, what will come out of the internal. So I believe that it starts with the internal, and then nothing in your body will move without the brain. So it all starts internal for me, from my perspective at least. So I would have to agree with your sister on that one.
So self-care for you, what is self-care for you? How do you self-care?
The biggest thing for me, because I can get so caught up in life and moving fast and stuff like that, I have to remind myself you gotta take time for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that goes towards your mental, being able to stop everything that kind of takes away from you being yourself. The things that you like to do, what makes you happy, what makes you feel good. Give that attention. You need that attention to have an equal balance. What they say, healthy work and life balance. The things of that nature. So you need to take time for yourself. That's the biggest thing for me. Taking time for myself, being with myself. You know what I'm saying? Doing the things that I like to do. And you don't need. A lot of people get caught up in always having to have someone else around them to have fun, but I feel like that's you're depending on other people for
validation.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And the outcome of what makes you happy, what you know what I'm saying, like I can't do that. So I gotta rely on myself. I know personally what makes me happy, so I stick to that and make sure that I have time to do those things, you know what I'm saying, to calm my nerves, you know what I'm saying, calm my spirit, get my mind back right, just to align and things of that nature.
So for me, self-care originally was like making sure that I had all my ducks in a row, meaning that number one, I had to make sure that my hair was cut. I had to make sure that like my face was clean, my body was clean, that I smelled good, stuff like that. And I thought that was like self-care. Mm-hmm. But then as I got older, and then I started learning more about mental health, and I realized that self-care is less about just like your outside, but mm-hmm. like my sister said, it's your inside too. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really see it that way because I was so focused on the outside, because for me it's like, as long as I look good on the outside, I felt good on the inside, and I was confident. Because my outside visually gave me that confidence to do what I need to do on my inside, where for other people it's vice versa.
Right.
But in my thing, it was just like, if I look good, I smell good, then I'm feeling good. That's the quote. Look good, feel good, smell good.
Right.
But in my instance, I was like, if I'm good on the outside, I'm good on the inside, and ain't nothing gonna take that away from me.
That's true.
But now I'm realizing that if I'm not good on the inside, I'm not gonna be good on the outside.
Right.
And the craziest thing about it now is just like the difference between having waves and having locks.
Right.
During self-care. It's like when I had waves, like I cared so much about my hair that I realized that I wasn't really caring about myself.
Right.
Like I remember, like we had a conversation about the days you be in class. You know when you had waves and you brushing your hair in class all the time. Well,
Exactly.
you really should have been looking in that damn book.
Right. Right, and that's a good thing though. But I feel like it's a double-sided coin. You can't put one more so over the other because I feel like it's a step. It's a stepping stone. Although I said it does start annually, it's still gonna come out. You know what I'm saying? Regardless. So whatever you putting on in yourself, instilling in yourself, then I feel like that's what's gonna exude. You know what I'm saying? If you're taking time to take care of your face by going through routines at night, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna exude in the latter when people see you. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it is a double sided coin because like you said, if you play sports, they tell you if you look good, you feel good, you're gonna play good. You know, and that really helps heighten who you are and how good you feel about yourself, your happiness, your peace, and things of that nature. So yes, they both do go hand in hand, but once again, I do believe that everything does still start on the inside. If you eat bad foods, if you're not taking care of your diet and things of that nature, then it's gonna show. You know what I'm saying? In different places, in different ways that may affect you down the road. Now you got problems with, oh, I'm drinking too much soda. So now I got all this acne on my face. You know what I'm saying? So what you put inside did show up on the outside, and now it's like a double problem. You know what I'm saying? Your body's not feeling good. It's not producing the way that it needs to be producing. And now on the backside, now you got to go out in public. You got zits on your face. You got pimples. You know what I'm saying? You got scars and acne and stuff like that. So it does start inwardly, and it comes out. It comes out of you.
So, with you being a barber and talking about self-care, when or what inspired you to start cutting hair or start doing
Actually, it was around my senior year, and I was kind of, people think it's a blessing, but I call it a curse. I've always had facial hair. I started growing facial hair around like 14, and it kind of got really wild my freshman year and sophomore year. So, I mean, that's to see people got that reaction all the time, but that's why I ended up picking up clippers because people didn't understand. I gotta maintain that. I have to do maintenance on myself.
I'm gonna crop that for you.
But yeah, I had to do maintenance on myself, man. So, and it was more expensive to go to the barber. So I'm thinking like, shoot, let me pick up these clippers and, if anything, at least shape up my face. I kind of learned a little cheat. Like, if you at least shape up the hair on your face, you know what I'm saying, you can kind of go without a haircut for a little while. It don't look as bad. It'll look at least a little bit better. So, I picked up clippers, but I learned out the hard way that it's hard to cut your own hair. So, and that took a lot of practice before I could actually really start doing it correctly on myself. But it kind of coined the idea, made me hungry. It's like, shoot, I don't want to have to keep going to the barbershop. So let me learn this trade, man. And went to college the next year. Found myself being an average college student, hungry, looking for food, trying to figure out how you gonna make ends meet. And I realized when I can use this hunger and this passion that I have for wanting to learn how to do hair, man, to put some money in my pocket so I can go give me a little something to eat at night. So it was a lot of key factors as to what made me pick up the clippers, but the main thing was it started out to be for self-care.
So, what advice would you give to people about self-care visually and mentally? What advice would you give them?
It might be cliche, but you can achieve anything that you really set your mind to. But it's also going to take practice and work and actions behind it to make those things come into play. Because, like I said, like for instance, one of the easiest things that you can point out is diet. It's going to show. You know what I'm saying? If you eat healthier foods, your body will react to those healthier foods differently. You know what I'm saying? It'll store it in different ways so that you can use it for energy. But if you choose to have a poor diet when you want to eat late and stuff like that, which I'm actually talking about myself because I know exactly how I feel and I haven't been doing a good job with that. But
it's adulting.
Yeah, it is a part of it. But I feel those things, you know what I'm saying? I don't have all the energy that I feel like I should have to have a productive day, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be fighting sometimes to get up early in the morning, you know what I'm saying? But I should probably actually take my own advice and get back into doing things so that I could feel better. which is a part of your self care. Part of self care is self discipline. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't have that. So a lot of people just kind of go with the wind, go with the flow, and it shows. You know what I'm saying? In many areas outside of just appearance, it shows in what people have to offer. You know what I'm saying? Or to show as far as accomplishments, accolades, and stuff like that as well. So it's I forgot the question.
Yeah. That's so true. We can cut it there.
But
What advice would you have for anybody that's interested in becoming a barber?
um, so I'll speak on how I started. Like I said, well, I already mentioned how I got into it, but I'm self-taught. I taught myself how to cut hair. And basically, my dad told me, if you want to learn how to really do it, and if you really want to be passionate about it, then you'll be passionate by looking it up and doing research. And everything is already out there for you to learn. You can get on YouTube. I call it YouTube University. But that's what taught me how to cut hair, man. Just consistent research and watching a bunch of people do it repetitiously, over and over and over. And then the other side to it is you gotta practice. And lastly, go do it right. Go get your license. Go through all the necessary steps that you gotta go through to obtain your license so that you can do this profession legally. Go to school. Go to a cosmetology school. But the first two things is be passionate about it by doing your research, really honing in on it, and then practice. Get out there and convince a few people to sit down in your chair and let you do their hair, cut their hair, do their nails, whatever you want to do. The whole profession, the 9 yards. So that's pretty much the start to it right there.
So, your let's say top three. What are your top three needs of being an entrepreneur?
Needs?
Yeah, top three needs.
What do you need in order to be successful as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, like type of. Let's say personality wise, top three personality traits or character traits that you need to be successful as an entrepreneur.
There's no one way to skin a cat, however you want to say it, but I believe that a humble, passionate, hardworking, and if you'll throw an honorable mention, dedicated person will be able to be a successful entrepreneur,
Whatever you
whatever.
wanna be.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like whatever you want to be, like I said, when it starts with self-care, it's in the mind first, and the body will follow. So whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. With those 3 to 4 things right there, being humble, being dedicated, being passionate, and being consistent, persistent, all of that.
So, in the African American community, why do you think we, as African Americans, don't take self care, not mental health, but why do you think we don't take self care as serious as we should?
I feel like it's just a lack of knowing, you know what I'm saying, and a lack of access. Other people would rather focus on their bare necessities, you know what I'm saying. Sometimes that leaves out portions of self-care that people actually need, you know what I'm saying. It's just a lot of reasons to it, but I feel like the main reasons is a lack of knowledge, you know what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people aren't hip to how to take care of themselves. A lot of people just make it day by day, survival of the fittest. So it's about surviving in a lot of black communities, you know what I'm saying, rather than going beyond survival and thriving as far as human nature will let you go, you know what I'm saying. A lot of people just trying to make it out and they don't see or know anything else.
I think the reason that we don't take self-care as serious is because, I'm just saying straight out, I feel like we got a lot of, or too many excuses. as to why we can't do something. And for sometimes it's a difference. I say it's a difference between excuses and reasoning. So, for example, when I come back to the visual side of self care, so for a guy who wanna get his hair cut but can't get his hair cut as often because he not making the bread that he should in order to get his hair cut every 2 weeks, that's understandable. But for somebody who is happy and wealthy and doing what you're supposed to do, like, but you just letting your hair get away with it because you can, like, I feel like me personally, you are at a state where you kind of, not saying you don't care about yourself, but it's just certain things that you don't care about and it shows.
Well, I put it from a perspective like this. Although everybody may not be in a position to afford a haircut every week, I feel like it's a mindset. If you're the type of person that would like to thrive for haircuts every week, then it will start in another area of how can I be a little bit more successful? How can I make a little bit more money? You know what I'm saying? And putting your passion and your efforts towards that to be able to say, so that you can get to a point where you can make those weekly appointments because you just moved up in the rankings at your job. Now you're no longer just a average worker, but you're the manager now. You know what I'm saying? Or now you're a supervisor, and then you're moving up the ladder to become a CEO. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Like I feel like those passions, that's a part of self care, and I feel like that's a part of someone fighting for their peace and fighting for their happiness, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that's a part of self-care, being able to fight for things that you want, you know what I'm saying? Fight for the things that you need.
And that is the end of this episode. As y'all can see, I'm done, diced, and ready to go on a run. So shout out to my mans, man. As y'all can see, you see it firsthand. This is what self-care look like to me. But so for anybody real quick, just for you real quick, anybody that wants to get at you, get a cut, Instagram page, anything like that, how we get at you?
Go ahead and DM me and I'll shoot you my Style Seat booking app. And you can go ahead and look at my calendar, look at my availability, and go ahead and book, man, and I'll get you on there. And if you have any problems, hit me in my DMs on Instagram and let me know that you're trying to book, and I'll go ahead and get that settled for you. So once again, my Instagram is _simple, SYMPLE. That's your boy. Hit me up, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah. And we will see you next time on the next episode for another panel that we're going to come back around and we're going to do it for that one too. Alright? So until then, and this is the end, I am Najee Richardson, and this is Talk to Me.